Citadelle Des Morts was an absolutely insane map, but what the hell did any of it mean? Well, look no further as I answer that question right now.
Wherever Richtofen is, I'm gonna bury him.
During the Terminus Easter egg, Maya finds her brother has been turned into an amalgam, and is swiftly dealt with? Dr. Modi, alongside Peck's warheads from all the way back in the first Outbreak Easter egg in Cold War, are destroyed by Patient 13, which is then dealt with by the ex-Requiem crew as humanely as possible. Sam, the AI system being developed by Project Janus and Richtofen, whose source code was the original Samantha Maxis, and is currently lost in the Dark Ether, decides to assist the crew after Janus lost control at the Liberty Falls site, and helps decrypt some files. One of these files contains info on the Sentinel Artifact, a relic from the Chaos storyline of Black Ops 4. This relic is an instrument created by an ancient order known as the Nine. It could harness the power of pre-materia, a primeval substance that allegedly predates the universe, the original building block of matter. When activated, the Sentinel Artifact would begin a trial, where only those inside the safety net near the artifact would be safe, and all others nearby would mutate into zombies and other creatures. In the Chaos story, each artifact was named after a god, so there was many. However, in Black Ops 6, they have only ever referred to one artifact, so this may be a change. Each artifact also had an accompanying piece that was needed to activate the trial. Richtofen had become obsessed with the artifact and its control over pre-materia. The second file contained information about Avalon and the location of Citadelle Des Morts. The third file was of a man named Gabriel Kraft, whom they thought had information regarding the whereabouts of the artifact. Kraft was the main radio operator for Vanguard zombies, and was heavily involved in the occult aspects of the lore, such as the old Dark Ether gods. He was also friends with Alistair Rhodes, a scientist in the Chaos storyline and father of Scarlet Rhodes, a main operator throughout Black Ops 4. The fourth and final file was information on Franco, the head of the French syndicate and the man that was funding the Liberty Falls project. Richtofen had hired him to locate the Sentinel artifact. He was also helping Dr. Modi to find and transport people for her to experiment on inside the island, including Maya's brother. Kraft was abducted by Ravenov, an old friend of the ex-Requiem team and future father of Ava. He was now also working for Franco.
Killing me won't bring your brother back!
The team then head to France and find Ravenov, now a drunk soldier for hire, lamenting his days with Maxis as good friends. Upon seeing them, Ravenov very quickly abandons his post and joins the crew to help free Kraft and kill Franco, as he disliked being pushed around by him, and to potentially find a way to free Samantha Maxis. Strauss and Raptor 1 work on evac, while Ravenov stays on comms with Peck as he is still far too drunk. The team head upwards towards the castle and use the cannon to destroy the doors. Once inside, they find the dungeons and open up the hatch on Kraft's cell door. Kraft informs them that before they get the Sentinel artifact, they must obtain the Obscurus Altilium, an amulet, from the Owl. The Owl was a man named Guy de Saint-Michel, who allegedly destroyed the Order of the Knights Templar himself. He was a knight who was also an expert in the occult, giving him his nickname, as he could use the dark arts. He accused the Templars of heresy, and they were all killed, while Guy escaped to Avalon. However, his legacy was built on the work done by his 4 bastard sons, nicknamed the Lion, the Dragon, the Stag, and the Raven. Their true names are unknown. The Stag was a shock trooper, attacking hard and fast. The Dragon was ruthless and showed no mercy. The Lion was the smartest and most obedient, and the Raven was most similar to the Owl, a master of darkness. These 4 spent their entire lives trying to prove themselves and earn legitimacy and knighthood from the Owl, but he would go to his grave without choosing an heir. The only acknowledgement of their existence are the 4 statues protecting the throne room. Intel also reveals that Franco is the direct descendant of the Owl. Before leaving to find the amulet, Kraft casts a spell. As of writing this, it is uncertain of what it did, but the best guess is that it gives the crew the essence of the Bastard Sons, fooling the Owl's spirit into letting them finish his final quest, to prove which of his sons was truly the heir. Kraft mentions it was not his power, but the power of the castle that allowed the spell to work. After finding stamps dropped from Templar zombies, the crew gives them to the statues of the sons and receives their swords. These swords could then be upgraded by finding items of power relevant to each son. The items are a raven's talon, Pegasus's horseshoe, a paladin's brooch, and Ra's ankh. The important ones to note are the Pegasus's horseshoe and Ra's ankh. The Pegasus was a mythical creature that we have actually already seen in this universe, as Scarlet and the Chaos crew encounter and befriend it within Ancient Evil. A warlord corrupted it with prima materia and then killed it. It is unknown if there is any more of them. Ra is the Egyptian god of the sun, whose scepter was a specialist weapon in Black Ops 4, used by multiple characters including Alistair Rhodes to revive some of the Chaos crew. While the crew explore the castle, Maya sneaks away from the group and finds an SOS message playing on a radio. Upon replying, she hears Franco pleading for help. She mimics one of Franco's guards and he unlocks the door. After fighting her way down into the depths of the castle, she finds Franco, who locks himself inside of a room. Maya blows up the door and Franco pleads for his life. Maya gives him the Frank Woods treatment and then finishes the job, confirming to him that it's not an avenging, it's pure revenge. After the crew obtained the upgraded swords, they find pages of a book, potentially the Tome of Rituals from Vanguard zombies. In some intel, we learn that Kraft, after killing Von List, was locked in the room with List's corpse for 3 days, before eventually finding the tome on him and escaping using the book's magic. This makes Kraft the last known owner. The tome's magic reveals symbols on a wall, and after inputting the code, activates the final stage of the bastard statues. Using some incantation spells based on the power of each sun, and then paying respect by doing an inspect, I guess, the statue creates a mystic orb, which when powered up across the map can be placed into a hidden part of the castle. This opens the crypt and final resting place of the Owl. He had left a message for whichever son found this and deemed them worthy. The message left is clearly so vague that he could be talking to any of the sons, even when he says that they were always his favourite. However, as none of the sons ever found this, he unknowingly gives the crew the final part of the challenge to obtain the amulet, the Guardian Key, which is described in the intel to be the blood of the earth. They take this to the statue in the town, which comes alive as a golem, and teleports them underground. After a few phases, and the Owl commending who he thinks is one of his sons, the golem falls and the amulet is revealed, which they take. Suddenly, Kraft calls on the radio that he is being overrun in his cell, but by the time the crew make it, he has been gravely injured. Weaver asks him what to do with the amulet, and Kraft tells him to take it to the nearby excavation site, but to be careful of the Sentinel artifact, as it can consume people. This amulet may be the accompanying piece to this Sentinel artifact, allowing the ritual to begin when put together. Gabriel Kraft then reveals that Edward Eddie Richtofen is his adopted son, and pleads them not to kill him, before succumbing to his injuries. In further intel, it is revealed that Kraft's wife Sasha was killed by Von List back during Vanguard, and that they always wanted a son. In honour of her memory, he adopts Eddie, who was found on the streets with no memory of his past life. He would have nightmares, and scream about it being his turn, referring to the game he would play at Dr. Monty's house in Agartha with a young Samantha Maxis, as well as his alternate self's time and control of the zombies with the blue eyes. The orphanage would also note that the 8-year-old would talk to himself, repeating that he was safe in the house, sounding more like a mantra than any actual feelings of comfort. They would then move from Berlin to the US after Kraft took a job working on MK Ultra, the real-life mind control experiments conducted by the CIA. At some point after this, the relationship between Eddie and Gabriel would fall apart, despite Kraft still loving Richtofen. The excavation site mentioned is seen in intel here. Despite being fairly low resolution right now, the theory is that we will be travelling to northern France to the location of Origins. In this universe, the location was first found and excavated by Alistair Rhodes, who knew of its importance and got funding from a man named Archibald Fotherington Smythes. The crew then leave Kraft's body, as Ravenoff says he knows where the excavation site is located.
And do not return without the artifact in hand.
An interesting thing to note is the running theme of locations being haunted. In Liberty Falls, the mansion, Shem's Folly, is allegedly haunted or cursed. The Terminus Island has actual ghosts of fallen pirates, as well as the Surveyor suggesting the mining tunnels are haunted by the caved-in miners. The castle in Citadelle Des Morts is haunted by the Owl and his sons. And finally, Archibald describes his problem getting the locals to help out at the excavation site of the next map, as no one wants anything to do with the site, which he describes as hysteria. We also now know, thanks to intel, that Kraft met Alistair Rhodes at the World's Fair in Belgium when he was only 10, and that Rhodes was his idol after he had done a reading of the Magus, a book about ceremonial magic, alchemy, and astrology, all key components of this map's Easter egg. And finally, something I wanted to add quite late into the making of this video, is that the snapshot of the excavation site that we can see shows a buried statue. You can make out an eye, some hair, and a nose. This statue actually shares a striking resemblance to the Owl's Crypt, having the same curled locks and eye detailing as well as a longer nose. And I mean, other than a few other pieces of intel regarding Richtofen setting up the SAM AI, which I'll go into in my next video, that's all there is to know about Citadelle Des Morts. What would you like to see next? A Chaos story timeline? The history of Terminus and Liberty Falls? Just let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to add it to my list. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I had such a good time making it. We also just hit 5,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane, so thank you all so much. And lastly, I wanted to thank every single person, all 650,000 of you as of recording this, that watched my storyline explained. It means a hell of a lot. See you in the next one.